Hey my lovelies, it's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook card reveals for you all. So I just want to say before we look at the cards, apologies if my hair looks a little bit kind of squashed or a bit big. I had a little bit of a nana nap in between clients earlier, so it's looking a bit pressed down in parts, but yeah, hopefully it's okay. I kind of don't care if it doesn't, like, yeah, it's all cool, it's all good. So let's have a look at these cards and let's see if the messages make a little bit of sense for you this week. So if you were drawn to card number 1, we're going into the energy of the devil. So as I sort of mentioned on Monday's kind of guidance reading, if you caught Monday's guidance reading, this particular deck, which is the Crystal Powers, the Crystal Power Tarot, which is up behind me, each card has a crystal of choice to work with for the week ahead, and it has an affirmation at the bottom. So the crystal of choice for this particular card, if you were drawn to it, is obsidian. So black obsidian or blue obsidian, you know, but a piece of obsidian, which is a protection stone. And its kind of affirmation just says, I am free of whatever is holding me back. Now, this is really interesting because the devil is the sort of trickster of the tarot, so often shows when maybe we're feeling a little bit trapped, a little bit restricted, and this can be in two ways. So sometimes, like, the devil is in embodiment of a person, so perhaps maybe there's a physical person or a situation going on around you that's causing you to feel a bit trapped or a bit restricted. So maybe you might be met with somebody that seems all charming and seems lovely on the surface, but perhaps has got a little bit of gameplay going on, perhaps has got some hidden agenda and is really trying to almost manipulate a situation. But sometimes the devil can be our own intrusive thoughts. So sometimes, like, we actually take on the embodiment of the devil. And so sometimes, sorry, it's my chair squeaking, nothing else, I assure you. So like sometimes with the devil card, it can be our own limitations, and it can almost feel like a bit of a self-entrapment that we're putting ourselves through. And the key thing is, don't give away your power. Don't feel like you've become sort of shackled by the kind of detriment, the bullshit, the rubbish that the devil's trying to trigger within you. So whether it's happening internally or whether it's happening externally in a physical person, the key thing, do not give the devil energy, because with the devil, we only feel trapped, we only feel limited by them or the situation if we buy into that, if we almost give away our power. So don't take on any falsehoods, don't take on any belief systems that are actually not yours. And I love the rocks in this particular pictation of the devil, because they're shaped as like keys, and it's like having the power to set yourself free. And also there's a beautiful butterfly wanting to spread one's wings and flourish. And that's the thing, the devil can only sort of hold us back and limitate us if we accept that and if we vibrate on that frequency. But if we vibrate higher than the problems, than the bullshit of what the devil's bringing in, it doesn't have power over us. We literally regain control. So you are being encouraged to be very mindful of energy at the moment, how you're feeding it, where you're feeding it, what's coming in, what's coming out, and are you affecting that on some level? Because very often people say this situation is XYZ, and they don't always want to take accountability for maybe their part in that or what they're maybe feeding into. And sometimes with the devil, we just got to be a little bit real. We've got to be a little bit honest. Are we feeding that fire? Are we fueling the devil a little bit there? Or is it actually something that is happening beyond our control? So yeah, keep your bearings this week with that particular card if you've been drawn to card number 1. Now then, this card keeps, I feel a bit haunted by this card at the moment. It keeps showing up for me on a personal level and around me and in so many readings for people. And I think maybe this is some of the collective energy at the moment that a lot of us are really feeling on and off. It's a wavering effect. But if you've been drawn to card number 2, we're going into that old hanged man energy. And it just sort of says here, so the crystal of choice to be working with is selenite. Selenite's a beautiful crystal, really good for clearing and cleansing. And it just says at the bottom here, I can see this situation another way. So it's about not getting stuck, not getting caught, not getting entrapped by thoughts and feelings, limiting belief systems. You know, sometimes we feel so consumed in stuff, we feel so overwhelmed in stuff. And I always say when when the Hangman card shows, turn it upside down. And it might even be like the energies of this is maybe causing the feeling of this. But it's that reminder that the noose is around the foot. So maybe sometimes we're tripping ourselves up a little bit unnecessarily. And actually, by seeing it this way, this sort of figure is taking a bit of a breather on the branch. And I love this pictation of, like, you know, by turning it upside down, there are steps, and it's about kind of moving forward, and this big ball of light coming from the crown chakra. You still have magic, you still have light within you. And sometimes life cycles happen, sometimes things happen that are really crap, they're really rubbish. Sometimes life can be shitty, but it's not getting so drowned in the energy of that we give away our power, that we sort of drop the ball on ourselves. The amount of times, you know, I have wanted to sort of call time on my mediumship and just get a conventional job, because it's been hard going this year. And I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed for everybody that kind of entrusts me to do readings and everything else, and that comes to my shows or supports me at the various sort of spaces and places. But I'm also human, you know, there's a spiritual side to me, but I'm also very much human. And, you know, the human side of me this year has been struggling. And it's not about money, it's nothing to do with that. Money, you know, I'm not saying I'm rich beyond my wildest dreams, but money-wise, I'm quite comfortable, I'm quite secure. It's the energy, it's heavy, it's hard going. You know, sometimes if you're doing back-to-back sessions or back-to-back readings, it just gets too much. And it's not just necessarily the connections with spirit and everything of that, it's listening to lots of different life cycles, lots of different life sort of stories can be overwhelming for an empath. And to do my work to the best of my ability, I have to feel deep, so I have that real deep empathy for things, and sometimes that can be personally quite detrimental. So the Hangman can show in many weird and wonderful ways. It can sometimes show that people are feeling a little bit stuck or a little bit isolated. It can feel that people are maybe just really overwhelmed. Mental health might be at an all-time high. Maybe some of you guys are really struggling with a depression or an anxiety, and the essence of Hanged Man itself. So the Hangman sometimes doesn't necessarily feel so much suicidal, but there's this feeling of your inner soul being, or your inner spirit being quite tired, quite old. Maybe you're someone that's lived many lives before. And as I've said many times, the world at the moment isn't being conducted in the vibration it was designed for. We're living in a very dense time, and it's a really important time for light workers and spiritualists to rise and to really sort of flourish. But it's hard going, you know, and those that are easily affected by energy are feeling tired, are feeling drained. And there's a lot of us that just want to return home to the spirit world. But there's a real importance with that we're not necessarily suicidal. Our inner spirit is just tired. I fall into that category 100%. And it's not to take away the beauty or the magic or the blessings on the earthly realm, because there are so many beautiful connections, beautiful experiences, beautiful pieces of life. But my inner soul is tired. And I think some of us are really feeling the effects of that with this Hangman card. So I love the affirmation, I can see this situation another way. And it is finding another way. If we feel in that space of overwhelmment, let's pull back, let's re-look at the energy, let's re-look at things and tweak it and adjust it so we can find a way to negotiate and to move forward. So don't stay stuck with this, you know? So I hope you can make sense of this card if you've been drawn to it. And finally, as we're going into card number 3, we're going into the card of Judgment. And it just says around the side here, well, the crystal of choice is bloodstone. That's what you're being encouraged to work with. And the affirmation just says here, I look back with compassion for myself. Now, judgment sometimes is about perhaps placing too much pressure, too much expectation upon ourselves. There's this real myth and there's this real conditioning system that we seem to all go through in life, where we should be striving to be a certain way or to be perfect or to have X, Y, Z. And as we know, that's deep illusion. You know, perfection is illusion. It doesn't exist. And I think there's a real importance with the Judgment card. You know, this person is wrapping the angel wings, which are sort of heart-shaped, around, and there's like self-love, there's this self-care being needed, being required. And the trumpet is about celebrating your own tune, your own rhythm of life. So I think it's a really important time for us to celebrate our wins, our victories, our successes. It's a really important time for you to actually recognize all the beauty, all the magic that makes you up, I suppose, really. And in terms of life cycles, things happen, things play out. We're all being the best version of ourselves that we can be in this time, in this space. We're all enough as ourselves, you know. At the moment, we are doing the best we can. And Judgment is letting go of this myth or this pressure or this expectation to be a certain way, you know, because that can be very detrimental to people. So I love the, you know, the affirmation of, I look back with compassion for myself. So maybe some of us are really torturing ourselves with life cycles or life choices or things that happened, but you acted the best you knew how to in those moments. We can all look back with deeper knowledge and hindsight, you know, but when something is presented, we act accordingly with what we've got information and access to at that part of time, with that part of the energy. And maybe some of you guys are looking back over life cycles, life patterns, and maybe just beating yourself up or being a little bit unreasonable on yourself. And I think it's really important to celebrate and to know you did your best in those moments. I mean, I often look back with certain things in my life and think, oh my God, I'd make so many changes. I would do that completely differently. But at the time, that was all I knew. That was the energy I was met with. And that's how I knew how to be. And I acted the best I could at that part of my journey. But things change, you know? So celebrate, be at peace with yourself, be enough for yourself, but don't string yourself up unnecessarily. So I feel this week the cards have all got an individual message, but I also feel they work as a kind of collective message as well. And they all, in different ways, each card represents a type of persecution. And I think the deeper message with all of these, don't persecute yourself. Really fill your cup up with self-worth, with self-love, with self-acceptance. Don't torture yourself, because anything can happen in life. Curveballs come, things play out, things that we can't always prepare for. And sometimes we have to just deal with it. And I think that's the message this week, you know? So you are enough for you in these moments of change, in these moments of uncertainty, in these crazy times. You got this, even if you don't feel like it. So I'm going to leave that with you. What do I need to let you know about? The main thing, I'm counting down the hours until my holiday starts. So I'm going off grid from Friday for my sort of holiday. So very excited for that. I've got a couple of Zoom sessions today and a couple of Zoom sessions tomorrow, Thursday. And then that's it, I'm done. I am temporarily sort of signing off for a week. Can't wait, really excited. Yeah, just need some downtime. There's not going to be any videos next week. I will try and maybe put up a Monday guidance reading card, but it will be typed up as opposed to spoken, unless I'm really kind of in a situation where I've got time to do that. So there'll be a little something, but it won't be a huge amount. But definitely no Facebook cards next week because I'm down in Newquay having a bit of rest and recovery. So Friday to Friday, and then when I'm back in the business, I'm going straight into Hungerford, which I believe is now sold out. So thank you very much if you've secured your space to see me. I'm in Martock on the Sunday when I'm back off my holiday. 3 spaces left. Drop me a message direct if you want to book in, and I can let you know what times I've got. And yeah, I think that's it really. Tickets are still available for all of my shows. Just a reminder, we have the upcoming show in Brixham happening on the 25th of October. So if you're in and around the Devon area, pop over to the website, buy some tickets for Brixham. It would be amazing to see you there. And I also have one final show happening in Ilminster which is at the Warehouse Theatre on the 1st of November. So if you're able to come and see me in Ilminster, that would be great as well. Always a beautiful night. And then my tour is finished for this year. So yeah, lots of conclusions, it feels like to me, like conclusions, wrapping things up. But I hope it makes sense. Have a beautiful couple of weeks, and I will catch up with you all very soon. Like I say, I'm off grid, so I might be very slow to reply to messages, if at all, so do bear with me. But yeah, thank you for all the love that continues support with my work, certainly all the love for this year, because like I said, it has been challenging for me on a personal level as well. But keep shining bright, look after yourselves, and I will catch you on the other side. Not as in the other side as in the spirit world, the other side is in like a couple of weeks' time, very soon. Take care, much love, bye for now.